Okay, this is 8.5 scientific notation. Okay, so if you're given the scientific notation and you're told to write the number, okay, let's give an example here. If you have 5.76 times 10 to the fourth power, and they're telling you to write it in number form or standard form, all you're really doing is swinging the decimal place 4 places to the right. So you look at the exponent, it's 4, and you move the decimal place over 1, 2, 3, 4. Wherever there's not numbers, you're going to add zeros here. So you have 57,600. All right, let's look at another one. Okay, now you notice that the exponent is negative here. So it's 9.235 times 10 to the negative 7th power. Okay, well when it was positive, you moved it to the right. So if it's negative, you're going to move it to the left. So you slide the decimal place over 7 places to the left. And once again, wherever there are no zeros, wherever there are no numbers, you add zeros. So you can see here that you have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. Alright, so if you have a negative exponent, okay, you're going to move the decimal place to the left. If you have a positive exponent, you're going to move the decimal place to the right. Alright, so the main point is this. Okay, if you have small numbers, okay, really small numbers, then you're going to have a negative exponent. Okay, if you have large numbers, then you're going to have a positive exponent. I like to look at it and think about money. Okay, if I was given a very small amount of money, that would be a negative thing. If I was given a large amount of money, that would be a positive thing. Okay, so given the scientific notation, you're going to write the number. Okay, so take notice that you have a negative exponent here. So the rule tells you to move your decimal place to the left 4 spots. So when you do that, you have 0.000365. Okay, for number 2, whoop, brought that up a little fast, but you have 7 and it's positive. So you're going to take the decimal and you're going to swing it 7 spaces to the right. Okay, adding zeros in where there are no numbers. So you have 356,478,000. Okay, once again, to take a look at this is what we were saying here. The main idea is this, for number 1, this, if it was an amount of money, it wouldn't even be a penny. And you would not want that as a pay. So that's a negative thing. If you look at this amount of money, that would be a pretty nice payday. And that's why that's a positive thing. That's a positive exponent. Okay, number 3, you're going to be moving the decimal place 5 units to the right. So try that, see what you get. Okay, so you get 76.2. Notice how all those zeros come off for number 1 and 3. Okay, so these zeros here, if you're moving to the right, are going to disappear. Okay, and then number 4, you have this nice large number, but you have a negative 8 exponent. Now there's no decimal in this one, so if you're wondering where the decimal point is, okay, well if you look at it like money, okay, then the decimal point is all the way to the right at the very end of the number. So you're going to swing it 8 places to the left, and you're going to see what you get. 0.85. Okay, so how is scientific notation expressed? Okay, well, the A here times 10 to the nth power. The first number, which is here represented by the letter A, has to be in between the number 1 and 10. Okay, now notice the symbols here. Okay, it has to be 1 or higher. Okay. But it cannot actually be 10. It has to be below 10. So you could have 9.9, okay, and that would count. But it cannot actually be the number 10. So we say it's in between 1 and 10, but it can't be the number 10. Okay, so you have an example here. It says, if I have the number 7,623, the decimal would have to go between the blank and the blank. So they're asking you, what two numbers does the decimal have to go in between in order to make it a decimal in between 1 and 10? And if you can see this, it's going to go in between the 7 and the 6, because 7.623 is in between 1 and 10. Okay, so since I moved the decimal to the left, my exponent will be positive. Okay, so here's a hint. Okay, big number. Okay, if you have a big number like 7,623, okay, you're going to have a positive exponent. Okay, this is what we were talking about before. So my answer would be 7.623 times 10 to the third power. And this is written in scientific notation. And this is true scientific notation because this number here, the first number, is in between 1 and 10. Okay, so if I have a number like this, 0.000678, the decimal would have to go between the numbers 6 and 7. It would have to go right here. This would make it 6.789, and 6.789 is in between 1 and 10. Okay, so since I moved the decimal to the right, my exponent will be negative. Okay, remember the hint that if you have a really small number, okay, then you're going to look at that as a negative thing, which means you have a negative exponent. So my answer should be 6.789 times 10 to the negative fourth power. And the negative fourth power came from moving the decimal over 1, 2, 3, 4 places to the right. Okay, but just keep that in mind that if the number's really small, that's a negative thing, you're going to have a negative exponent. If the number's really big, that's a positive thing, you're going to have a positive exponent. Okay, so we're going to put these into scientific notation. So take a look at this first number. You have $6,387. That would be a pretty nice payday. Okay, remember the decimal is all the way to the right of the number currently. You need to get this number in between 1 and 10. So if the decimal place is here, then you're going to swing it over 1, 2, 3 spots to the left. Okay, so your new decimal is going to be 6.387 times 10 to the positive third power. Okay, remember this number is a nice number. It's a big number. We moved it 3 spaces, so it's a positive 3. Okay, once again, this is a pretty good payday, $560,000. So move the decimal place over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. So your new decimal is going to be 5.6 times 10, and it's fifth power, and the 5 is positive. Okay, now try number 3. Okay, take a look at that number. And would you want that amount of money? Alright, so when you swing that decimal place, you're moving it 7 spots, and your new decimal is 4.1, and in scientific notation it's 4.1 times 10 to the 7th power. Alright, now 4, 5, and 6, these numbers are all really small. Okay, if you look at them in cent value, they're not even a penny. Okay, you definitely would not want to be told this is what your hourly rate is at your new job. You probably wouldn't want to go there. Alright, so you are moving this decimal, and you need to get this number for number 4 to be in between 1 and 10. So you're going to want to put the decimal in between the 3 and the 1, because 3.157 is in between the numbers 1 and 10. So you're going to swing it 1, 2, 3 spots to the right. So your new decimal is 3.157, and it's going to be times 10 to the negative third power. Keep in mind, this is a negative amount of money. That's not a good amount of money. This is a negative exponent. For number 5, you're swinging the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4 places to the right. Okay, you want to get that decimal in between the 9 and the 6 because 9.621 is in between 1 and 10. Remember, that's always your ultimate goal for that first number. It has to be in between 1 and 10. It can't be 10, okay, but it has to be in between 1 and 10. So in scientific notation, you'd have 9.621 times 10 to the negative 4th power because you moved the decimal 4 places to the right. Try number 6. Okay, you need to get that decimal to be in between 1 and 10. So take a look at that and see where you think it would go. All right, it should go in between the 8 and the 1. And in scientific notation, it's 8.14 times 10 to the negative 9th power. All right, now number 7 and number 8, it kind of mixes some things up here. Okay, if you look at number 7, and you ask yourself that question again, is this a good amount of money? And your answer should be yes. Everybody should want that in their pocket. Then you know that your exponent's going to be positive. Okay, once you know that, then really all you have to do is figure out where does the decimal have to go, in between what two numbers. And it's going to have to go in between the 9 and the 1. So it's going to be 9.156. Notice that all these zeros drop off. Okay, there's no need to write all those. It's a waste of your time. And then it's times 10 to the 11th power. Okay, and the 11 came from the fact that you moved it 11 spaces to the left. All right, now number 8. Okay, probably not a very good payday for you if this is the amount of money you're getting. All right, so you're moving the decimal and you're seeing where it falls and what two numbers it has to lie in between. It's going to go directly in between the two ones. So you have 1.12. Once again, notice all those zeros went away. And it's times 10 to the negative 11th power. Okay, and the 11 came from the fact that you slid it over 11 spaces to the right. Okay, and that is